I am now live. Oh, hello. Hello, everyone. Apparently, there's a search bar, which I'm going to search Arianna. Arianna and I are figuring out how to go live together, so we will be right back. Hello, friends. There we go. Arianna joined. Oh, hello. Here we go. I want Arianna to join my room. Duh. Why wouldn't I? Here we go. Accept. I am accepting the request. Oh, hello.
Oh, why is this not? Hold on.
Look at that. Two elder millennials sort of figuring something out. I can see you. Can you see me?
I can see you, but can you hear me well? Because it's not going through my headphones.
I can hear you. You're on a little bit of a delay, but I can definitely hear you.
Okay. Because I have some weird, like, muffly issues with my phone, too. But as
Oh
long
no,
as
yeah, and your the delay is now almost non-existent. Hello, how's it going? How's it going, everybody? What's up, Jeff? What's up? The gang is all here. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Fegs? I
all right.
think, yeah, Ariana, we were just on the phone just now, AirPodding away, trying to figure out how the AirPods work. What's up, Matt? Andy Perry is here. All the peeps are here.
Hey.
What's
All
up,
right. I'm
Ariana? How
just
are you on this
gonna.
very lovely Friday?
I am good. I am just nice. And
Oh, I just lost you for a little bit, but now you're back.
why is this soap? Can you hear me?
This is the workout. Yeah, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Is there a delay? That's awkward.
I think there might be a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. Whenever I talk to anybody, there's a little bit of a delay. God knows.
Oh, weird.
I'll tell you when there's a
Anyway,
delay.
well,
There's a delay when I talk to Mike.
oh,
I'm just having
really?
fun waving at everybody.
I wonder what it is. Is it your phone? No.
I don't know. I don't know why it would be. I'm on like my best Wi-Fi available here. Maybe it'll probably just iron itself out. So I guess that's a question maybe for the chat. Is one of us smoother than the other? What's up, nerds? Hello, Lori. Are you guys seeing anything of a delay in the chat?
Yeah, Lori, tell us if there's a weird delay on either of us.
We just employed Lori to be our tech support. Yeah, I think Aaron is probably correct. Instagram, just being Instagram.
Yeah, because I'm sure both of our internet's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think you're good now. You seem
I think
fine
you're
now.
good. Yeah, you seem fine now too. Yeah.
As long as you can hear me, because I have like weird phone microphone issues. Um,
Delay. That's
mic
amazing.
delay.
Yeah, exactly. Mic delay.
Ariana keeps stalling. I also keep checking my internet and it like pauses the live. My pauses
Yeah,
the
I know
video when I do
that's the
that.
thing. That's the thing I have to remember about live. Instagram is like, if you're live, don't touch any other
Yeah,
app
you
on
like
your phone,
can't leave the screen.
we freeze the entire thing. But yeah, this is sounding great. How are you doing? How's your Friday so far?
Very good. Did some teaching, then got my studio test, and then just want to crash in bed because I'm exhausted because I'm
Of course,
momming and
because you are momming away. Momming away. How is the little dude?
he is very good. Oh, we did have a very terrifying choking situation, but I won't go into that.
Oh my
Everything's
gosh, I'm
fine
so sorry to hear that.
on food. Yeah, it was very scary,
Ugh.
but now it's fine.
Oh my God. Little guy, gotta chew.
Yeah,
Chew, chew, chew.
I know. He's got no teeth, but he chews with his gums. It's
Just
fine.
gumming away. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, he's cute as a button, and I can't wait to meet
Yeah.
him.
How are
Um,
you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, just went to Ventura with the dogs. My youngest dog had never seen the ocean before,
Oh
so that
my,
was a hilarious experience for him to be like, "What the fuck is going on?" The water would go away, and he'd run in, and then not realize that the water was going to come back. So he's like, "Oh, good, I'm safe," and he'd start like trying to eat seaweed, and the
did
water
he
would come rushing in, and his eyes just got like
did he
big as
like
saucers.
did he like the sand? I remember my dog the first time he saw it was like jumping in the sand. He didn't care.
He liked it. He didn't freak out as much. Lisa and I for sure thought there was going to be like he was going to be like, let's dig a hole
Yeah,
to the center of the earth because he likes to dig in the yard. But I think
yeah.
it was a little bit too much stimulation for him to realize like, oh, this weird stuff is like diggable. I could also dig in this. So I think there was a little bit of cognitive dissonance there. He didn't quite make that connection. But next time, he
That's
definitely liked the
funny.
water, so that was very fun. And Luna loves to go and run around down in the water. So it was a grand old time.
That's
So,
so cute.
uh, you have a couple to sign right away, right?
I have a couple to sign. I'll pull them up. Um, Nothing like Cookie Run fandom though.
That
There's
Cookie Run fandom,
Cookie Run
unstoppable
fans.
Cookie Run fandom.
But yeah, I have a couple. I don't know what I'll sign live means. I'm signing offline on here. I don't know.
Yeah, on the Streamily store.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple. Oh, Lori. Lori bought one.
Well, obviously she needs it. It's not enough. It's not enough to have just all the other tattoo art in the background of her studio. You got to have
Look,
Shaza back
hey,
there as
Lori,
well.
this is like really your style. Look at
I was
it.
gonna say, yeah,
Purplish.
that very much is the Lori Wild vocal booth style, I
It
would say.
totally will go with your booth.
It's gonna fit right in. I can't wait to see it.
Oh my gosh. So
Well,
what's up? Tell me, Laura, you have one, unless you didn't buy one. Did Rick
I
buy
was
it
like,
for you?
I need one.
She's like, I need one. She's
Like
saying I
it,
need
it
one.
looks like you got one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Ariana, I think that, the most fun thing I would say about this game was discovering. I don't know. I think it was maybe a couple months into the process, sort of in the friendier sort of way you have of talking about stuff, realizing that we were
Yeah.
both in this game together, right? That was such a
Yeah.
fun sort of surprise, and I feel like that happened relatively early on,
For
like
sure. When it was still
way
an
before it came out.
NDA. Yeah, when
Yeah.
it was still like the code name of the game, which was,
Yes.
yeah,
Indiana, I believe.
Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was so fun because we've literally been like, I mean, we've known each other how long?
No, let's
Literally.
let's 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 not age ourselves. Since
I
since we
feel like
were
it's like almost 20 years. No?
it's coming up on it. I think we're at like 18.
Wait, I
Because
feel
yeah,
really, I just felt so old. I just said 20 years and that's insane.
yeah, exactly. I would totally agree with you. I was doing the in-person video game class last night at Real Voice, and part of my intro for that is like, hey, like 10 years old, you get a snack after school. What was your system? Like, what was your like video game system? And like the shit that these kids were saying, I was like, I was playing that at the frat. I was playing that in college. I was playing that after college. Oh my God, this
College
was a
was
tear.
so long ago. Okay, it's not been
This
20 years. We're not that old, you guys. It's been like
no,
17, 16
yeah,
years.
not 20 years, like
Six,
17 and a
17,
half.
something like that. Not
But I
not
think
actually 20.
that's one of the funny things about especially the video game industry. Like if you and I were on a TV show together, even if we weren't in the same episode, it'd be pretty easy for us to realize even before it comes out, like, oh hey, I think we both have an arc on this season of this show. But like with video games, you straight up have no fucking idea who's in these things
Yeah.
until they come out. And I think it was just because you and I talk so much about projects and stuff, that we kind of realized like, oh, I think we're both in this game. I think maybe were we talking about Rocket Sound? Maybe is that how it came up?
Maybe, or maybe one of us asked the other one for like a tech question or some sort of
Yeah,
question maybe or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
That's usually how it comes out. I would say with like voice actors is like, um, you ask each other a tech question, or you're like, oh, I was here and this person says hi, and you're like, if they say hi, were you working with them? What were you working with them on? Was it this project? And you
Yeah.
sort of have to like, I said the phrase friend DA to somebody, and I don't think they'd ever heard it before. And I thought that they were going to just slap me across the face because they were like, oh my God. I was like, it's a thing. It's a thing.
No,
But
it's
it was,
definitely I texted a friend who's in a game that I'm I'm in the next installment of it. And I texted them and was like, are you in the new one? And they were like, oh, hello, friendy. I was like, just kidding.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But it was so nice. It was so nice to know that, and then also to realize that we were both sort of like on the more villainous side of things, and that I didn't even know we have a couple scenes together, which is so fun, and obviously was a complete surprise.
Yeah. So fun. I mean, it's so, I mean, there's so many people in this game that like,
It's insane.
that
It's
we
absolutely
know.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
that's I think that's always an exciting thing when a game comes out to like that. That's sort of part of it. It's sort of like showing up to a party when you don't know who all's going to be there and you don't know if you're going to know some people, because that, that first day the game comes out, or if more of the cast gets announced, it often is like, oh my god, this person who I either know personally or this person who I've admired. That's an experience for me a lot. Just really like, holy shit, these people
yeah.
like such a big fan of are also in this game, and that's always so exciting. And that comes so late in the process. You don't necessarily know that that's the case.
So true. I mean, I really wish it was like it's, sometimes they make it seem like it's this whole like thing where you see people in the studio and you're like, hey, like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah, Lost Ark. They did a very very well produced. I think the trailer they did for it, that like Mela and Andrew and Alejandro are in. That they shot at
yeah.
Rocket Sound. That was so
I don't
fun.
think they actually recorded there.
Oh, come on.
That was
Yeah,
so,
I mean, yeah. I think I talked to Phil, the director of the game,
yeah.
in the next session I did after I saw that. And I was like, "Hey, that video turned out great." He was like, "Oh my God, how hilarious is that?" Like, I'm never in the studio. I'm always at home. All of you show up in your like voiceover
Yeah,
pajamas.
Phil
Just
has a young baby too. He's not going
yeah,
anywhere.
yeah. Phil's not going anywhere. What's up, Boom Roasted?
Yeah.
And Jeff, it was easy to pull a good demo out of you,
Hey.
Jeff. That was one of the easier things I've done this year. But yeah, that video turned out great. But it definitely is like it's a little bit of theater of the mind to think like, oh, Mayla's in the kitchen making tea, and Andrew's finishing up a thing, and then these two people are
Yeah.
talking. It's like, no, we're all by ourselves. Fegs has a great question. This is a question that I'll pose to you, Ariana, because what's up, Boom Roasted? Because I definitely know the answer
That's
myself.
that's Lori's husband. That's right.
Oh, amazing! There you go. I mean, I just like saying "boom roasted." That's just fun to say. Fegs wanted to ask: have you guys ever recorded something with other cast members at the same time, or has it always been separate? Separate. Jesus, I speak for a living. You wouldn't know it. What's your answer to that question, Ariana, in terms of video
Um,
games, especially?
so so I was in an animated series like years ago called Novi Stars.
Hmm.
And you can hear it on YouTube if you want to listen. I was in the studio with two other girls who played there's like Novi Stars were like these dolls and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so we were in the studio together. Um, and it was really fun. I'm trying to think of like other times I've been in the studio with people. Like I feel like oh, well, I did a commercial a couple years ago where me and some friends, if my friend, I don't know if Hope's in here, we literally said ew, but we all were together. It was like
Uh-huh.
ew, like all together in the same room. And it was
And
the best commercial ever. It was Union and ran all the time. And
yeah,
it's like we
yeah,
literally said ew.
that's because you guys were in that loop group together, right?
No, I was yeah, but very funny. No, but that was yeah, I've done a couple things in person. It's been like commercial-y things. But
Yeah,
yeah.
my only experience is exactly the same. The first commercial I ever booked was a Philips 66 radio commercial, and it was a 30 and a 60, so like a 60 and a cut down. And we did it. The joke of the commercial was like I was the modern announcer, and then there was, oh, there we go, you. No, we'll pull the wool over
You
your eyes on that, Fegs. It was like me as like the modern friendly announcer, and then a guy coming in like this, and we sort of like started arguing about how the commercial should go. We
uh
recorded that at the same time, but no one was in the same room. I was in a studio in West Hollywood, and he was in like San Francisco in his office, and the director was in Boston, like from the ad agency or whatever. So all three of us were in a different place, but we recorded it live together. Like they opened the channel, and we had to like very slightly step on each other's lines to account for like the delay in the ISDN signal, and we
oh my
did the
god.
spot clean. We didn't do pickups. We just ran it until we had a take that worked. It was
Oh wow.
crazy, and that was my first voiceover job as an adult. So I was like,
Oh,
oh
that's
shit, this
cool.
this shit is complicated. And then I've never done anything even even close
Oh,
to that
actually,
ever
yeah,
again.
I did something, a medical video thing where I played like the patient like a month or so ago, and I was on the session with the girl. But yeah, that wasn't in person. That was just over
Yeah.
like whatever session.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's in a big AAA animation project. That's still going to happen. I think you might still be together, but not as maybe as much as you used to. I don't
Yeah.
know what the I don't know what the utility of that. I've never had a video game experience that's anything close to that.
No, I don't think I have. I'm trying to think of like any of them. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like before COVID, which feels like 50 years
Yeah.
ago. But
Yeah. Exactly. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago. So I mean, and again, I mean, 3,000 years ago feels like when we were auditioning for this project. But like, um, did you read for other parts? Did you get like a batch of stuff and pick which characters you want to audition for? I know that's often the case. You sort of just get like, hey,
so,
here's all the females for this game. What do you feel like you connect to?
I don't know if I auditioned for maybe I did audition for this. Oh,
Hmm.
you know what? Maybe I did audition for this. For some reason, I thought I hadn't auditioned for this, but I think
Hmm.
I did. I think it was another game with Phil that I did.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't remember. Now I'm remembering the audition. I don't think I auditioned for other characters. I think I read
Hmm.
for her. Now,
I
yeah.
know that I got it was sort of like the classic video game paradigm for me. I think I got a deck of guys because this game has what 300 or more individual speaking parts. I think like obviously
Yeah.
the main cast is not that big, but like the amount of characters in this game is absolutely insane, and it just keeps growing. And I
Yeah.
definitely remember like because you don't necessarily know what the code name is. I remember like I think I did maybe one or two rounds of auditions before I auditioned for Cackle Sadon, and I remember seeing the word Lutera a lot, and that was like because like oh this must be that same game as that other thing. I have no idea what Lutera means. Like you don't know if that's a person or obviously it's a place in the game, but you don't know
That's
what
how
it is. But
yeah. That's how
yeah.
I always figure out what game I'm in.
Hmm.
Like I always like Google like a little word. Like I'll look in my audition, like my past
Hmm.
auditions at the game, like and then I'll like find these words and Google it and be like, oh, that's what game it is.
Yeah, it's very funny the sort of like forensic detectivery that we have to do to just get like a little bit of context. Because I know, like in terms of the material given, I think I have this. I have
Hi,
this loaded up.
Aaron.
I think. What up, Aaron?
Erin Cross. She's Benji's cousin's wife. I'll see you soon in Michigan. Yeah.
When are you going to Michigan?
We're going to Michigan in like a couple weeks, and then we're
Amazing.
all going to this family camp up north in northern Michigan with like
Oh,
all Benji's cousins. It's so fun.
a family camp. That sounds like the most
It is
Michigan thing
so Michigan and so wholesome.
that I could imagine ever doing. That's going to a family camp in Michigan is the Michiganiest thing that's ever Michigan,
It
which I think is
really is on
fantastic.
a lake. Yeah.
I remember here I'm trying to see if I could pull it up real quick.
What are you trying to look at?
I'm just trying to look up the audition sides just to sort of get like an
Oh,
because I remember it wasn't a whole lot of um
it was a
it,
really long time ago. Like I don't know what year it was.
it was a long time ago. Wow, I auditioned for this in 2020 actually. That's when I sent
Yeah.
in that's when I sent in this read. So
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. It wasn't a ton of characters. December 2020.
yep, that's when I did
Yeah.
that's the email that I'm pulling up as well. It's just loading.
Yeah.
And yeah, in terms of like what you're given, like I know this is what I was given. Just one, two, three, four, 5 lines. Five
Yeah.
lines, short character description, and then a little
Yeah,
bit of a
there's
personality note.
not a lot of lines. Should I add these to my video game folder now that I know the game's out?
Well, I already did.
I'm
Trust me.
going to.
I'll tell you what, Ariana, I'll send you all the guys if you send me all the girls. How about that?
That sounds great.
This is
I think I
another.
actually have all the guys. I think they sent me all of them for
Did they
people.
send you everybody?
Yeah, but I'll send
I've
them to you.
just got. Do I have? I've just got the dudes here, and then I have a couple other things. But yeah,
Hi,
um,
Sam.
it definitely brings up, the idea of just like, you really do have to take, you have to make some assumptions. You have to take a swing when you get this
Yeah,
material because it's not a ton of stuff that they necessarily can give you, right?
yeah. I mean, that I always talk about in classes, like when I'm teaching, like it's all about archetypes. You just, does this seem like a fantasy world and a villain? Okay,
Hmm.
you know what that means.
Yeah, make some choices. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
makes sense.
do the thing or do your version of the thing or try to subvert the thing. That's always fun
Yeah.
to do. What's up? What's up, Kirby? Stephanie Kirkus in the house.
Hey,
One of the most talented VAs I know. Not
very
even close.
talented.
How's it going, Stephanie? Um, but yeah, I remember taking a bunch of swings, just sort of like thinking, here's 10, pick three, here's 20, pick five. Um, do you remember being particularly like drawn to Belshazzar, or was she just sort of like one of the many sort of parts like, oh, I could take a swing on this because she sort of fits into your archetype. I feel like she's pretty strongly in your wheelhouse.
So I submit now. I found my auditions. I one, two, three. I submitted on 4 characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, this was like several years ago, so I don't know. But nowadays, I know what I book, like
Yeah.
pretty much. Like, not that I won't read for other characters that I know I can do, but I don't book that much. But
Mm-hmm.
I know I book the villain a lot, so and like
Yeah.
those characters. So I'm like, I always will read that character, so I'll choose to
Same.
read them. So
Yeah.
I think probably then I knew that too. So I probably
Yeah,
chose
she's
yeah,
such like an HBIC, and she's so badass and
yeah.
so like obviously villainous. It's very much an Arianna Ratner type. I think that Sadon sort of again, because this was back in 2020. I remember thinking the character was super fun, because his personality is manic. He's very crazy, and just be like, well, this is definitely something I could. You're an icon, Stephanie.
You're an
Don't
icon, Stephanie.
You're an icon. Ugh, all I want to do is get healthcare and cars and Target and Bed Bath and Beyond from you, Stephanie.
I
Um,
know.
but I remember taking a swing on that, never having worked on anything like that before, and never having booked anything like that before.
Yeah.
And now that that's sort of happened, like Sadon has sort of become like an archetype that now I'm like realizing I should take more swings on because I've booked a couple other parts that are kind of similar and just realized
Like the crazy
I
psycho
would say
villain kind of things. Yeah.
crazy psycho villain and also just unhinged and
Yeah.
trying to paint every corner of the voice
Like
print
the
too.
Joker type. Like the Joker
Yeah,
type.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely for lack of a better term. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, there were definitely like I was on I was on the Lost Ark Reddit the other day, talking about the signing and talking to some awesome fans of the game, and that was it. That was a thing that kept coming up. Obviously, it was like, oh my gosh, like were you like trying to evocate like a little bit of Mark Hamill, and it's like, are you kidding me? That's a mountaintop I just stand at the base camp and look up to. But like that's an archetype, just sort of like that sine curve kind of thing that he created is a voice print that I'm definitely like realizing, oh shit, if this character is one of the characters I can audition for, I should probably take a read on this, which is
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Had you worked with Phil before this game?
I think this was my first time working with Phil, and then since then I've done some stuff with him.
I think same. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this was my first time. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah.
And did you go into Rocket Sound, or were you mostly just there? You got such a nice setup.
No, I've done it from home. I mean, this started during COVID, December
Mm-hmm.
2020. So
Yeah.
I've done it from home the whole time. Yeah. Did you go in from the beginning, like from December? I mean,
I went in. Yeah, I went in from the beginning. Because before we moved, I definitely had a place that I was doing a lot of jobs, both interactive and commercial and stuff. I
yeah.
was doing from my old place. But for whatever reason, maybe I just didn't bother to ask her. And I don't mind going in, especially at the time. It was only like 8 or 9 miles from my place, like anywhere in the valley. I'm like, I'll just go in. It's kind of fun to go in. And then
Yeah.
in retrospect, I'm glad that I did start the paradigm of going in because his stuff, especially the boss fights, especially like the raids and stuff, was such a crazy variety of volume that I think having to
The
manage
self-engineer. Yeah.
self-engineering that and worrying
Yeah.
about the backup recording and worrying about peaking, I have no idea how I would have been surfing that gain and doing all this other stuff. So I'm grateful to have been able to go in because you just get to go in and just only focus on the performance, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's true. I've gotten so used to like self-engineering that like in a session they'll be like, okay, wait, turn your gain down. I'm like, I already
You're
did.
like,
Like,
I already did. Yeah,
I'm
I
so
got it.
used to it now because I just do.
Yeah.
I've literally, I think I definitely in 2020 went into a studio. I remember going into like VSI or something.
Mm-hmm.
I only think I went to studio like once or twice, and then last year, I don't know. I don't think I went to Real Voice LA last
Mhm.
year to do a
To do a
video.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this year, I mean, I think things are going back to in person, like
Oh,
more and
for
more.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
2022 versus 2020. Same thing for me. The only two places I went in 2020 were BSI and Real Voice LA, and they were both for dubbing jobs, which,
Yeah.
the technology does exist to do that remote, but I think almost
I'm
everybody would
doing a
prefer.
remote dub. I'm doing a remote dub show right now.
What are you using? Is
So
there like a
it's Zoo Digital, so it's their platform. They have their
cool?
own dubbing platform. I'd say it's not the greatest platform, but it is like a cool, all inclusive. They make it easy. And I do
Yeah.
my own, like he'll be like, okay, she's in the background, so like back off. I'll move my mic and I'll do kind of like as if because I've been in dubbing sessions where they put a lav mic on it.
Mm,
So I'll tell you how remote dubbing works. So Zoo Digital has their own platform, and I'll see the video on screen, and then they have the like they don't beat me in actually, but they have the
mhm.
ticker tape or whatever it's called.
The
Uh,
the stringers.
yeah, and and you kind of have to. There's no beeps, so I kind of just have to like figure it
Just sort of
out.
taking a guess. Yeah.
It's really hard. And then, but yeah, and then instead of like a lav mic, which I've had in a studio where they do lav and a regular mic, to kind of imitate studio sound or production sound,
Mhm.
I just kind of like he'll be like, okay, back off, or like
Yeah.
go off
Yep.
axis, like kind of thing. So I did a bunch of sessions not last week, and
Nice.
that's what yeah, it's. I mean, it's nice to go in, but it's also really nice to not drive to Encino, I think, which is where I would.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I if only we could switch. I would love to go to Encino. It's right over there. Ariana and I do not live in the same
You go
place
to
in LA, and of
Atwater, I'm like,
course,
Atwater's right there.
believe me, oh my God, the amount of times I've been going to Rocket Atwater. Every time it's like you're working at Rocket Sound, fingers crossed, and it's Atwater, and I go, oh,
Dang
well, I'm
it.
getting on the five. Never mind, sitting
Yeah.
in traffic. But does Zoo Digital, do you do remote backup yourself for that, or is Zoo Digital just recording?
No, they're just recording on their end. They
Nice.
don't have me do a backup. Yeah.
In terms of live recording with other people, I have an experience of that. I think tonight is going to be one of my first experiences of that. I'm doing a narrative podcast
Oh,
tonight
cool.
with three out of the four other actors.
In person?
Not in person, but all at the same time.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm
In your booth, like
I'm
from
going to be
home?
recording in my booth, but we're using Riverside FM. Have you ever used that?
No.
I didn't even know what it
No,
was.
but
I guess it's a podcasting platform, just sort of like, hey,
mhm.
everybody can hop in here. The engineer gets all the individual feeds and then doesn't have to sync them necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be doing scenes, directed by the director tonight with some of the other cast members, which I'm really excited about. It should be fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I definitely miss working like it is really fun to go in person. Like what I went in, but then it's sometimes annoying. Like I'll have like a the other day I went in for a game that I do already that I did a session and I do it from home. I've done
Hmm.
all my sessions from home and they were like, "Oh, you have a session booked. It's at Dave and Dave or something." And I was like, what? Why do I have to go in?
Why do I have
And
to
I went
go
in, it was
somewhere?
literally a 15-minute session. I was like, well, that was fun driving to Burbank for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, it's like if the commute was longer than the session, they should have to give you a cupcake or something. I don't know,
yeah,
just
I was
something.
like, and the director wasn't there too. So I was like, why are they?
I had one or two of those for Lost Ark, especially. Did you have any kind of crunchy records towards the end of last year, towards the end of 2021? Like, hey, we need these pickups
Yeah,
right now. Yeah,
last
I had a
minute. Yeah, yeah.
I had a bunch of those last minute, and two or three of them were in person, and that was the only time that I would ever like. I feel like this person is in the game as well because it was a little bit more. I think like everybody had 2 to 5 sort of
Yeah,
like things they had to record right before the big release date. So like they were just kind of like revolving dooring us in. That was the only time I was a little bit like I probably could have done this at home. I had one session
yeah.
where literally I walked in, I read 2 lines, and
Yeah, I
Phil
know.
was
I had
like,
a session. I had a session with
"Well,
one. I had a
bye."
session with one line. That's why it's like, oh, let's step in there for a second. Okay, bye, guys.
Yeah, goodbye. And
Lori,
hey,
they don't give you booze, but they do give you food at the studios. They have like breakfast and stuff. It's so nice. They have food, they have drinks. They'll make you like, they'll be like, do you want anything? I'm like, yeah, can I have a, like, I'll have a a throat coat. And he's like, "Oh, I'll make it." I'm
Oh,
like,
I got
"Really?
it.
Thanks."
My dream is just to have more morning sessions at Lime when the kitchen
Yeah,
is open. Oh my God. They sit you
yeah,
down and
remind
literally
me.
it's like, here's the menu. Like, menu
Yeah,
for what? It's
yeah,
like, what do you want for breakfast? There's a fucking big chocolate lab running around that you can
it's
pet.
amazing.
Somebody's frying up eggs. You're like, this is pretty nice. I would like to
Yeah,
work
the
here at
breakfasts are always really good.
9:45.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, "There's bacon." Like, what?
Who
There
has
should be
bacon at a
bacon.
voiceover studio? Yeah, I feel like I
Okay.
would say yeah, Lime and 11 in Santa Monica, and I think they're expanding now. They're moving into another place. They always had yeah. Stephanie is of course exactly
Pre-pandemic,
right.
yeah.
Pre-pandemic Lime Studios, the pre-pandemic Lime Studio breakfast probably gone the way of the dodo by now. They probably just throw a Nature Valley granola bar at your car as you park,
Yeah.
and then just usher you into the studio.
Yeah, there's not a lot of food anymore every the times I've gone into studios.
So this game obviously like hugely insanely popular from 2019 on in South Korea and in Russia. Huge game. And then of course the big exciting thing for us to be a part of was like the localization of this, like
Yeah.
Western release. I know the in-house barista, Stephanie. Now I'm just thinking about 11. The big Western release in English so that UK and Europe and the United States can play it like so. Obviously, we localize this game.
Hmm.
Listening to the performances a lot. Had you had a lot of experience with that before?
Yeah, I do a ton of keyword studio games that are in other languages, and so uh, I do it a lot. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes they don't really care about the reference voice.
Hmm.
This one, they didn't need me to, imitate her, but I definitely saw, like, I had to, match the speed and match her laugh, her sound
Hmm.
effects, and things like that. But um, yeah, no, and it's interesting because I'm like, sometimes I hear the originals, I'm like, I don't sound like that at all. I don't think I
Yeah,
sound like that.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had done a little bit of it before. I think like I did a mobile game called A3 Still Alive, which is kind of like a similar feel to Lost Ark, like
yeah.
big sort of massive multiplayer online game in a fantasy setting. And now that was an instance where I played one of the player characters. And I don't know if you've had this experience before. If you if you play the player character, it's sometimes a lot easier because they don't talk that much versus like being an NPC. Like you have this idea like, oh, an NPC is a smaller part versus like, oh, I'm going to be the player. It's like this game is like, oh, you're the barbarian. If somebody picks a barbarian class as the player, it's you. And I
Mhm.
think I had 11 lines, eight of which were it was just grunting. But then that was the first experience I'd had with a video game like this where you realize like, oh, they're booking you for an amount of time. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what else can we get at? How many other characters can we get out of you? And that was definitely like listening to original performance, having to match timing, and having to make choices on the fly was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes different choices than the original actor made
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah,
Laura
for
says, "Have you
sure.
guys ever met the OG voice actor or something you dubbed?"
I don't
No,
know that I have, no.
no, but I did. Oops, am I? How do I close this? Oh, there. I did do a reaction thing with Marco. Marco Meatball is his YouTube of the music of this. Have you seen the music of this game?
I've watched a ton of videos, obviously like watching for your scenes and my scenes and
Yeah,
stuff. And I've watched some actual plays and like this game is insane. It's
yeah.
so cinematic, it's so gorgeous, and the music is
Did you watch
bomb.
the concert though? Have you watched?
I
It's
haven't watched the
crazy.
concert. I saw you posted that either yesterday or the day before, and I've been
Yeah.
meaning to watch it, but I haven't had a chance to yet. I'm definitely going
It's
to.
insane. You should watch it. It's a 5 hour concert, but so don't watch the whole thing. But it's insane how epic it is. And like apparently someone in the comments told us because Marco and I didn't know it was the original Abelshud or Brelshaza. That's what her name was
Hmm.
before. Um, and in the and she wasn't singing. She wasn't the one singing. But she was like on stage almost as like a cosplay character. And I
Wow.
heard her voice and I was like, is that the original? I said to him, I was like, that sounds like her. And he was like, oh, I don't think so. I was like, yeah, I don't think so either. And then someone in the comments later was like, that was her. I was
That
like, oh my
absolutely
gosh,
is her. You're
that's
like, holy
awesome.
shit, that's so
She's literally
cool.
on stage being like, like,
Well, I can't wait to see you at the Greek doing the same thing, of course, next
yes,
summer when that comes around here.
I would
Yeah.
love to do that. So
Yeah. I Yeah, the actor who played Cackle Sadon in the Korean version so balls to the wall. So I mean, obviously the
Yeah.
character's balls to the wall, so insane. Definitely different than the direction that I think Phil was pushing me to go. But
Oh, really?
yeah, I would say yeah, the thing that we took I would say two things from him for sure. Because as I could tell you after all of these frickin' sessions, all this motherfucker does is laugh. It is just laughing,
Mm-hmm.
laughing, 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 cackling, cackling, laughing, cackling, evil laugh, maniacal laugh, painful laugh, 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 laugh. I agree, Travis. More voice actor cosplay. I'm sorry that I'm not in my full. Also, hi, Travis. I'm sorry I'm not in my full cackle state on that, but it's at the dry cleaners. Um, but this is the game that definitely taught me like I never realized like the classic voice actor thing is like, oh, it's infinitely more dangerous to whisper than it is to shout, right? That's like
Mm-hmm.
more tax into your voice. I will tell you from personal experience, I had such a harder time and was so much more exhausted by laughing than I was even by efforts or taking damage or attacking with that fucking hammer he has. Like the long cackling laughs were gassing me doing this game. It was absolutely insane.
Sorry,
And
I'm
I never,
testing. I'm testing. I don't know if I could see the bottom of the chat
you
or
test
not.
away. Ooh, now I'm in the chat and I can't figure out. So I'm gonna get out.
Yeah, I
Help!
couldn't.
I
I
can't
don't
get.
know if I'm seeing what I don't know if I'm seeing anything. Does anyone have any questions about like voiceover or anything? I feel like it's mostly people like our
Yeah,
students.
exactly. It's kind of our buddies. We're all just hanging out.
Here, Lori, are you here? Here's your
Oh my God, in the flesh. There we go.
yeah, and here's some
Please
other.
hang this directly behind your face so I see it on Zoom. Love, Arianna. That's a weird signature, but I buy it. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't write it. I wrote, "I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way."
Wow. Absolute round of applause.
Thank you. I thank
Round
you.
of
I thought of
applause
that on the
full for that.
fly.
I would agree. Emily, my dear little sister. Hello, Emily, who just it seemed
See,
like
I
she had an
can't
amazing
see. I
time.
can't see that Emily just joined. I can't see who's. I can't see anything. All I see is my when I wrote test.
Oh, that's so funny because I'm on the top and you're on the bottom for me, and I'm just getting the chats just coming through for me. I'm sort of looking at you through the chat, so I
Yeah,
don't know why that is.
I don't
That's
know
weird.
why I can't. Well, you'll have to if there's questions, you'll have to read them because I can't see who's in here.
I will. My sister says that she would love to plop us in the middle of a convention surrounded by nerds and cosplayers. Well, that's basically what our entire life is, just sort of being nerds and surrounded by nerds. But I know that I know Emily was just at a con in Chicago this weekend with her husband. Seemed like they had a
Oh,
great time.
really?
And of course, Fegs, if there ever is a con in Denver, obviously we need to come to Denver or even North Carolina. Hi, Eva. Eva says hi.
Hi, Eva. Yeah, I can't. Sorry, Eva. I can't see your comments.
It's okay. Maybe it's because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it's
I
because is
touched
it
something.
my
I pressed the chat and then I closed it and then I couldn't see anything else. Like I just don't see anything recent anymore. I don't know what
interesting?
happened. I shouldn't have touched it.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
bet if I left and came back, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Lane? Hi, Courtney. Courtney coming all the way from Scotland. I can only imagine what time it is there.
Courtney Hogg.
Yes, indeed.
Hi. She's V Preggers.
I know all you got, all these beautiful voice actors having babies. But yeah,
Baby voiceover.
if you guys do have questions and you put them in the chat, I will see them. It also looks like if you type this little speech bubble with a question mark on it, you could submit a question, then maybe Ariana would see it too. But oh,
So
now I'm
tell me
locked.
what you've been without breaking any NDAs. Like
I
tell
know
us
without breaking
what
NDAs.
you've been working on recently.
I have been working with Phil a little bit. One of the things I can say because the character's out. Phil and I had a Smite record a couple months ago, and my character came out. So that was super fun, and just sort of like this. It was sort of the same team, at Rocket Sound, same
Yeah.
engineer as
Yeah, I
Lost
think
Ark.
Rocket Sound just took over Smite, right?
I think yeah, because Rocket Sound, I
Yeah.
believe Phil did as well, because I think maybe Kachi Tang used to cast that, or Octatron I think used to cast it, but
I
now
don't remember. I've
Phil.
done it a couple times. I don't remember who.
And now
It.
Phil's handling it. But yeah, we had a grand old time. Um, that sort of brings up the idea that I was talking about of like realizing that like Sadon's like an archetype, a bell I need to keep ringing because
Yeah.
Phil and I did Sadon together, and I started getting the Smite reads. And for those of you guys who don't know, Smite, another massive it's kind of a MOBA, like a massive online battle arena. Their whole thing is just like tons of characters. Every like couple weeks, there's a new season, and they drop like 20 new voice actors doing skins of the existing characters. So voice actors we audition for Smite a lot, and same thing. You get a batch of characters. I sent in a million reads.
Yeah.
One of them, the spec and the character, I was like, this is very much like Sadon, and Phil is casting this. So yeah, I'll take a swing at this. Like he's obviously not gonna fucking pick me for this, but it'll be funny. And of course I go in and you don't even know what part you're doing until you go in, and I'm like, who'd I book? And he goes, who do you think? And I went, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And he's like, listen, I put you on the list for like 2 or 3 characters, but like this is the team saying, no, we want him to do this. So it's just interesting that like kind of not really with any input on Phil's part, the first character I do in this game is relatively similar to Sadon. But they threw a big, like huge bang sort of like
Sound
the
effect.
character wears a mask, so they threw a bunch of distortion and a lot of reverb on it to match the fact that this character is a mask. And I listened to it, and even sending it to people, I was like, I promise this is me. Like this sounds like it could be almost anybody. Like it could have been you. It's so vocally distorted, but yeah, that was the last game I did with Phil, for sure. And then may or may not have done another thing with him, maybe without saying. But he's definitely amazing to work with.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and obviously you and I have friendlied a little bit. You've got a ton of fun stuff that you've been working on.
I have some fun stuff coming up. I have, I got a creature thing yesterday that I booked that that's what my sound test is today.
Amazing, congrats.
Which will be fun. And then we're leaving, I go to Michigan, I think in a couple weeks. And before then, I think I have like 4, 5, 6 jobs, I think before.
Amazing. That's fantastic. You're absolutely
good right now.
Destroying as per usual. Yeah. I'm in like a little bit of a backlog. I have like 10 or more games that I've recorded, like 4 of which were supposed to have come out already. Yeah, just waiting for them. And like 4 of them just keep getting delayed. And that's the worst. When you're like, I think it's finally gonna be March. Nope, it's gonna be May.
I know.
Nope, it's gonna be September. And you're just like, God damn it, I really want these things to come out. So I'm very excited about that.
I have one, I think you know what this is, but I have one coming out in August, big one, big AAA. And then I have one coming out in fall, big AAA, which I'm excited to finally have things to post.
Yeah, I know, because that's what you want to see. Yeah, I think I don't even know. I couldn't even venture a guess as to which of the games that are in the pipe are coming out, because some either there's no release date announced, or there is one and then you can't trust it because devs might need more time, or the studio might want to release it at a different time for better sales figures or whatever else. So definitely like that's kind of where I'm at, like continuing to do stuff and not knowing when any of it is going to come out, which is like exciting but frustrating.
I feel like it's hard. Like sometimes you leave a session and you don't even know what game it was.
All the time. Absolutely.
I mean, more and more often I'll join and they'll be like, okay, now that the NDA is signed, this is welcome to this world. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I often find that my first, like you said about in terms of the audition, having to do a little bit of forensic detectivery in your email or with Google, that's often like my first session away from it. Like, hey, this is your first session for this new game. That's when I'll like sneakily look at the screen and see if I could see like what other actors. Do you ever do that? I'm such a little shit about that. Like, if they're sharing the screen, I'm like, okay, real quick, like,
so-and-so's in there? Yeah.
Oh, this person's in it. Oh, maybe I'll text about this. Oh, I recognize that name. Okay, I read these are the other 3 characters. I'll like write them down real quick just to have a little bit of a better idea of like, what the fuck is this? Because you're curious about what it is. So I'm definitely a little shit about that for sure.
Oh yeah. One of the games I'm doing right now, which I think too, we share too much friend here. JK, no one heard that.
No, we don't share anything.
We don't share anything.
Never. No, of course not.
But they had, I had to wear the lav mic on my head. That's the one I've been doing a bunch of sessions for that game. And they have a picture of the example, and it's the lead actor of this game. And I was like, oh my God, because they're a really big actor.
That's that. I know what that is. Yeah. But
the example.
There's a couple questions in the chat. Trad just want to know, ever have an improvised choice make it into a game?
It's hard to hear your lines, find your lines later. Yeah. But definitely when they're like, oh, that's the select, that's going to be the line they choose. So definitely, when they've been like, oh, leave the pre-life in. They'll say, leave the pre-life, that's my select. And then, Yeah, so I know that's gonna stay in the game for sure. That happens a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say yeah. Maybe not improvised lines, but like because of the way that the lines get recorded a lot, you'll do an A and a B or an A and a B and a C, usually just an A and a B, and then you'll get a redirect. So you're given the opportunity to offer different choices as you perform these lines, obviously. So I don't know if I get a lot of like opportunity like truly improvise. Like you can do a little bit of Waller, a little bit of pre or post life, but like
Yeah.
I get excited when my B take is the select because usually, the audition is the audition. I'll send my weird take first sometimes if I feel risky, but like in a session, I'll usually give them what I think they want. And then, especially if I have any kind of relationship with the director, my B take is just the weirdest thing that I could think of. Just like,
Really? That's funny.
that's 100% my philosophy all of the time. I think sometimes to the annoyance of people I'm working with and sometimes not. But I've definitely had B choices make it in. Like I think
Yeah.
Star Wars Squadrons was the first one that I like was able to notice. Like there were a couple lines, and I played kind of like a hotshot Han Solo kind of pilot in that, and we kept it pretty straight and heroic. But he also was a little bit frenetic and a little bit like, haha, I almost fucking died. And he had like a little bit of like less badassery to him that I thought was more interesting. So my
Yeah.
B takes, I'd consistently be like, that was a close one, and then that was that was a that was a close one. Be like, they're never gonna fucking use that take. And two or three of my B takes that were kind of like that made it into the game, where I'm just like kind of losing my shit after like a big explosion, and that was very gratifying to be like, you put the weird ones in. That makes me so happy. I got my weird lines in.
That's funny. It definitely is like gratifying. I think the best, well, when it's like a comedic,
Mm-hmm.
game, the best is when you like the director's like cracking up, like, yes, that's the one. Take the
Yup,
B.
that's the one. Even if they say, "Oh, I wish that's something I hear a lot. It's like, I wish I could have B. It's got to be A." Because what that means is like, yeah, that was fun. I have bosses I have to report to. I can't fucking send that as a take. What are you doing? Like, me and you and the engineer had a laugh. That's usually what happens. I think
That's
the only other
funny.
one I remember, a game that is not out yet, sort of like in the idol section, just sort of like hanging out in town. I think one of the seasonal events was some sort of like festival or something, and he was talking about how good the pumpkins were, or talking about how good the pumpkins are, and I added this ridiculous pre and midlife of him like eating something. Completely not in the script, completely not indicated. I was just like, for my B take, this would be kind of funny. And there was like silence on the other end, and I was like, oh god, did I finally like step too far? And then the director finally unmuted, and she was like, oh my god, I was dying. Like that was so fucking weird. And she talked to the team who was on, and they're like, would that match the animation? And the team was like, we'll make it work. Yeah, that's got to be it. So that gratifying, like you said, when you can make them laugh, I think that's very
That
gratifying.
is so funny.
Yeah, but 80% of those swings, hey, that was great. Yeah, we'll take the A take. No, we're not going to use that. Like it's too much.
That's
But
funny. Yeah, that's for me where my ABCs or my ABs, I just do two different scenarios. Like
yeah,
so it's usually like a toss up. They're like, yeah, the A, the B. So it's never
yeah.
like a all mostly A and then sometimes B kind of thing.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that character to character, I think some characters obviously a little bit more serious. Like I'm not taking crazy swings on a game that has a little bit more of a serious tone, but
Yeah.
the parts I tend to play tend to be a little bit crazier. And I know like for Sadon, I mean, there were no rules in terms of the things that he would do or say. Like it's not like he's like, well, I don't know if the giant clown with the little clown who exists in and out of the temporal hell dimension would do that. Like who fucking? There's no fucking rules about this. Who knows? Fags wants to know: do you have a daily vocal health ritual, or do you tend to just wake up and kind of hit it?
Me, I warm up every time I do any voiceover.
Hmm.
I do like lip buzzes, kind of things. Like I do mouth stretches. I do a lot of the theater school exercises that we
For
did.
sure. Yeah.
I still sometimes do like two households, both alike in dignity and fair
Of
Verona.
course. You ever talk about Tony Mole and Bubbles and their twins called so and so? All those fucking
No,
bowel
no, no.
poems we
I
used to
never
do.
did that one.
Oh, I'm
I know
still
it
an
is.
Adler. I'm still an Adler vowel poem every single day, talking about bright-eyed Ida and looking through the window and peering through the bars, all the
Yeah,
stuff we did in
no.
college.
I do Romeo and Juliet, and then sometimes do red leather yellow, like do tongue
Mm,
twister kind of things. Um, Yeah, and I use my voice straws to warm up.
Hmm.
I like the voice straws. And cooling down is also important. I always like the
Yeah,
lip
that's so
buttons
important.
down.
Yeah.
Because a lot
I can't remember who.
sometimes, yeah. Oh no, sorry.
Sorry. No, no,
Oh,
no. What
no,
were you gonna say?
sometimes like I'll do an audition and I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna warm up. It's like one audition and it's like a screeching creature
And it's
thing.
always the one that you
And
go, ugh,
yeah, and I'm like, it'll be fine, one audition, and then I'm like killing more than I am after like a full session. And
yeah.
so I'll just do cool down, eat my like Grethers pastilles and have like
Hmm.
throat coat and then I also like gargle with warm salt water. I think that's like the best thing that people
I think that
forget to do.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good idea as well. Yeah. So yeah, similar. I'm always make sure to, unless time completely doesn't permit, make sure that you're like doing a warm up before. I just try to also, and I advocate this for all my students too, just like I try to just my goal every day is to be the most hydrated man in America. It's just to constantly be like if I'm not constantly having to pee,
Oh,
I'm
I
doing something wrong.
constantly, yeah,
Yeah.
I drink so I don't even know how many of these
Yeah.
a day I drank. Probably like six. I don't even know,
Yeah.
five.
Do you have like here, I'll ask a sub question off this. Do you have like a kit? Do you have like a little go bag or like a list of things that you always bring to a session? Do you have like a little ritual or like a little like, oh, I always have to have these three things, these three drinks or this snack, like when you go to a job or a session? I mean, you're home, so that's a little bit of a different question,
Yeah,
I
I was gonna
guess.
say, so I'm home for
You
most
have
of
your
my
whole kitchen.
sessions. Yeah, I mostly I have to use my Act mouthwash before I do
Mm,
a session. It doesn't have alcohol in it and it just like lubricates your mouth. Like
gets all that fuzz out.
so I always use like before auditions, before anything, I use the green Act mouthwash.
I love that. I'm
It's
gonna
like my
steal that.
thing.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, it just no more mouth clicks. Like if I use that and then warm up, then I don't have mouth clicks and I sound good. So that's my main
Hmm.
thing is I need to have had my mouthwash or something. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I
What
always
about you?
need, I literally have like a cooler bag because I need to bring like five different kinds of beverage. I always have a big room temperature water.
And water, yeah.
I really don't like it even cool, let alone cold. I really like it to be like, I'm a big sweaty monster anyway. So I'm always warm doing video games. So it's like, the water may as well just be fucking tepid. That's fine. It feels better in my throat. I always need tea with a ton of honey in it. Like, I think that's become like a little bit of almost like more of a ritual than I even need it. Like, because I'll keep them all open on the stool next to me and like almost in between every read, it becomes like a little bit of a tick or a little bit of like a reset ritual. Like in between every line, taking a sip of one or both of those things,
Yeah.
especially if I'm going to be screaming a lot and 99 times out of 100, I'm there fucking roaring around, tearing myself up. So the tea with honey really helps. And I bring the pepacoa, that
Hmm.
magical Chinese syrup right in. And usually on a break, if I'm screaming a lot, I'll treat myself to like, okay,
That's
I
smart.
only
You
want to
bring a
do.
whole bottle, a huge
Oh, I
bottle?
bring. Oh, I put it in a brown paper bag. I'm like it's like I'm at a baseball game crushing a 40. I'm like, yeah, just give me a second. Blah.
You know,
I look like a wino.
when you're pregnant, you can't use that and you can't have throat coat. So when I was pregnant doing sessions and auditions, I like couldn't
Yeah, no throat
couldn't take
coat.
care of my throat.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
slippery on the throat coat. Lisa even will be like, "How many? You're not having that every day, are you?" Because like she reads the box and she's like, this shit has
Yeah.
some
Yeah, you're
punch.
not
Like
supposed to have
you
that
need to
when
be
you're
careful
pregnant.
with this. Yeah, I definitely try to like. I have like some boring peppermints here. Stephanie R. Kelly, who of course we both know. When I was at her and Arvin's like wedding reception a couple years ago, Arvin had the caterer bring out like a bunch of like Armenian tea at like
Hmm.
the end of the dance, which is called sadaf. You ever had sadaf?
No.
I'll send you some, or the next time you're here, we'll make some. It's an Earl Grey blend that's
Ooh,
like very popular to me. That's become like my new, like even over Twinings, even over English breakfast, like it's just really tasty. So that's become like my new tea.
that sounds so good.
It's very delicious. Here, let me find another question. Courtney wants to know, how long does it typically take to come out after you recorded? I mean, that's a terrific question with like a million different answers, I would say.
I'd
That's
say
such a
like a
range, isn't
year.
it?
Yeah, six
At
months to
least
a
a year.
year or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first video game I ever recorded is still not out. My
Really?
first my first ever video game credit is still not out, and I do not think it's ever going to come out at this point. I don't know. It's there, as often is the case with these game developers, like there was some teams that left, some changes in the narrative structure, some changes in the director. And I don't, who knows? Maybe that'll never see the light of day. And that was
Yeah.
4 years ago. Um,
Yeah, I did a job, and this I think was the tail end of the recording of this game at the end of 2021 because I was pregnant. I don't know when it was, but it was the end of 2021, and it was the end of the recording. They had recorded most of everything, and then it kept getting pushed, and now it's coming out August. So it's definitely a long time. It's like
yeah,
at least 6 months to a year. Sometimes
uh,
it's very short. Sometimes with the smaller games, it's short because
yeah.
they're just placing people
Smite is
in.
fast. I think just based on
Might as well
just
fast.
because the game exists and it's just new skins. I think the character I have
Sometimes it's
out,
like 2 months.
Necro.
Yeah, a month.
Yeah, that's too.
Yeah.
I think I recorded that in February and it came out like last
Right.
month. Like
Yeah.
that's you can depend on that being pretty quick just because of the nature of how they're rolling it out. I'm waving at some people. Um,
I wonder if I can
Lane was
silence my computer and look at the live on my computer so I can see the chat.
like, let me look at this. I know I thought about bringing that up on another screen as well. Lane was so riddle me this: what is the art to the projected "don't yell" direction? That's and if I had to guess, that might even be a Smite question because that is always what they say: projected "don't yell." What do you think?
Yeah.
If you see that in a spec or see that in a parenthetical direction, how do you solve that problem?
What is the Smite line again? Okay, this
Attack
is
the Attack the Titan.
Attack the Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely don't want it like attack the Titan. It's just kind of like called out as if you're commanding someone to do it. Like attack the Titan, like
Yeah.
go do
So
this.
yeah, I think that's a great solve. I think it's a little bit of what I call like geography. I think
Yeah.
a yell connotates like a more intense emotion, probably some texture, a little bit of gravel or a little bit of tightness versus projection is like Arianna said, just deciding the Titan is far away
Yeah.
or the person I'm telling to attack the Titan is far away. So maybe it's just a little bit more of that kind of like that fishing line voice thing we do. So as opposed to like attack the Titan with a lot of anger, it's more, hey, you over there,
Yeah.
attack the Titan. Just
Yeah,
making it a
that's
little
what
bit
I
more.
usually do for that line. Definitely like
Yeah,
just telling someone to do it for
yeah.
me. Yeah.
I will say after working with Phil though, for all of you Smiters out there, you hate the Titan. That's the thing he always said in our session was like anytime you're talking about the Titan or the Gold Fury or whatever the
Or
hell
the
else
gold
is in that game.
free.
It's like you hate this thing. That was always like the redirect. It's like, oh, I need to remember that the next time I audition for this game. Um, I always have the toy I play with on the desk. I love that, just having like a little bit of like a fidget thing to do. Hey, if it's quiet, they don't know, right? Do you do that? I mean, again, you're home. I have this, I have this trait where it's like, if my headphone cable's too long, I need it to be like a very specific tightness, and I put it in my pocket so that it's not hanging on the ground because I'm fucking throwing myself all over the place. And then I'll usually forget when I go on break and walk away and like pull the entire fucking interface over. That's my toxic trait. It's just like pocketing the headphone cable and then forgetting that I've pocketed the headphone cable because I am done.
That's funny. I always need the headphone cable behind me. Like I
mm,
can't have it in front of me. I need it like behind my head.
yeah. Talking about the other kind of things. I know that you've been working on a game. Were they running? Are they running the lab just to your forehead, like with tape, or is it in like a cap?
So they tell you to have like a baseball cap or a headband. So
Mm-hmm.
I literally just put the lav here, put the headband. Oh, this looks cute. Maybe I'll keep it on.
It is very cute. Oh my goodness. You
Um,
look sort of French. You look sort of
French, yes.
like your character from your commercial demo.
um, so yeah, I put it down here, and I haven't needed to tape it. But they send it to me every time. I mean, I think I'm going to start going in for this game because it's just really fun. Like the director's
Mm-hmm.
awesome, like someone I've always wanted to work with, and
Mm-hmm.
and I they keep being like, okay, see you next time. And so I'm like, and then they were like, you should come in
Great.
next time. I'm like, okay,
Okay, I'll
hire
come and
me.
hang. Why not? Yeah. Hello, I want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
That's super fun. Yeah. I've never had, again, because I think that the main difference being I mostly go in and I feel like you're mostly at home. But I've done a couple games. The Signifier is a game I did where that was the first time it was just a lav.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think that they were doing a backup with like a shotgun or any other kind of mic. And that was definitely like a wig cap. That
That's
was just
cool.
keeping the lab right there. And that was super nice because you could move around. You weren't really married to having to speak into the mic on the stand. When I did Battlefield 2042, that was the same thing. No mic on a stand, just the wig cap.
That's so cool.
Because that character was sort of like a podcast host or like a news reporter. So they're like, well, it's not like you're like delivering it into the mic. You're just sort of somebody somewhere doing something, and that definitely frees you up a lot. Yeah. I would say the converse of that, when it's not so freeing, I've had one game where it was a cap with two microphones. They wanted like a left and a right audio channel, and they wanted a backup on the shotgun. So I felt like it was just like a tendril. It was like I dove into like a roadie's milk crate in a rock concert and then came up. I was just like covered in fucking cords. And like every single time we reset from the break, I had to be like, okay, make sure that all these are braided together and tuck these behind my ear and clip these to my belt. Because like when I wasn't doing that, I was like tripping over myself like a lunatic.
That's so funny. Yeah, I've never had, the only other time I've used another mic was for a dub job where they had the lav and the shotgun.
Yeah, which is pretty common because, of course, like if you're dubbing, you're trying to match,
production.
The kind of audio that was recorded on the day, which is, they weren't in a soundproof booth speaking into a Sennheiser. There was a shotgun way above their heads and they all had a mic on. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the earlier question, meeting people who you've dubbed. I would love to meet some of the people I've dubbed. I've dubbed some really good actors. I play Sorrow in Gomorrah, which is like a big mob show that comes out of Italy that's on HBO Max.
Oh,
so you can watch it either subs or dubs. And if you watch it in the dubbed version, I play sort of one of the antagonists in season 3. And that was super fun to watch because you sort of get like a little speed through the show. And watching, I was like, holy shit, this show looks fucking dope. Like it's really expensive looking. All the acting's really good. And this dude was just like a really terrific actor. Like it was a treat to watch all of his scenes and try to like match a little bit of his energy because he was really understated and really, really specific and very powerful.
Did you watch Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry.
Did you watch Squid Game? Like, did you watch it with the dub or the original?
I'm in the middle of watching Squid Games. I'm usually a dub person, I think, because we're voice actors, but I am watching that with subs. So I watch it
with subtitles. I mean, I watch most things. I just like the original, even though we did dubs. But I did, for research purposes, switch back and forth watching Squid Game, like, listening to the original, then switching it and listening to the dub. I still do think, like, I mean, the dub was really, really good, but the original their voices it was so weird because you're used to their voice and then you switch to the dub. Yeah. Like, oh, that's different.
And the acting is really good. I have a harder time watching the dub in a live action project. Yeah. I'll say I have an easier time watching it with subtitles, but there's the advantage of working with dubs. Of course, in this day and age, we're always up to other stuff. You can't watch something with subtitles while you're making dinner. You can't watch something with subtitles while you're doing laundry. If you're stepping back and forth from the screen, yeah, exactly. Like I
would always be rewinding it. Yeah.
But I'll say when I watch anime, I watch it with the dubs because I find that more enjoyable, especially like I'm an anime noob, but I'm trying to get into it more, half for research and half just because it's kind of fun. I'm watching Neon Genesis Evangelion right now, which is like a very, very classic, like starter, prototypical anime that's on Netflix. You can just watch it. And I started watching it with the subs, and then I switched to the dubs, and I was like, all this acting is like fucking fantastic. I'm just going to watch it with this. And then I look at the credits, and it's like JP Carly.
I mean, anime is mostly great. Yeah, great acting.
Yeah. Attack on Titan Fegs is definitely on the list as soon as I finish Eva. But like Erica Lindbeck is in this dub, and all these amazing people are in this dub. I'm like, well, fuck this. I can watch this while I'm like chopping vegetables, have it on my iPad, and I don't have to be looking at the screen, and I get to listen to like really good voice actors. Like that's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah,
totally. What I would love if they ever do the dub version is what's that show called? Call My Agent. Oh my god, if I could be in that show.
I don't know about this. What is the show?
Call My Agent. Does anyone else watch Call My Agent? It's a French show. Oh my god, it's the best show ever. There's like 4 seasons. It's a French call. It's called 10%.
I'm putting it on my list.
And but it's called Call My Agent in English. It's not dubbed though. It's just subtitles. And it's so good. It's about an agency, an on-camera agency in Paris.
Amazing.
And it's the funniest, just best show ever. You're gonna love it.
What are you watching on?
It's on Netflix, I think.
Oh, amazing. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm literally just gonna go on Netflix and add
You
it
need to
because
watch
otherwise
it
I'll
like
forget.
tonight. It's so good.
Oh my. Not Call the Midwife. I've seen that one. Call My Agent. There we
Call
go.
my agent. Call my agent. Yeah.
Nice. Add it to my list. They scramble to keep their
Mhm.
star clients happy and their business afloat after an
And the coolest thing
unexpected
about that
crisis.
show is that all of the actors, not the actors who play the agents, but all of the stars that they represent are the real stars. And they're all this like these French stars. You have no idea. Like there's some people that we know, like you're like, oh, they've, transferred over to American cinema, but
Uh-huh.
they're most of them we have no idea, like they're just
But they're
hugely
huge.
famous in France, but we don't know who they are. And I'll be like looking them up and it's like a huge YouTube star, like Norman, and like he's like
Uh-huh.
this huge new YouTube star, like I have no idea who he is, but he's like hugely famous in Paris, and it's crazy. It's such a good show.
That's super fun. Well, yeah, we'll manifest that. The new Call My Agent. The new
Yeah,
Call My
I'll be
Agent
the dub of Call My Agent.
There you go. Yeah. You'll just do all of it. We'll just have you do the whole thing. I think that
Yes.
just makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, does anyone have any other questions? My baby's still sleeping somehow, which is
I know
great.
the baby. Baby's sleeping. Baby is chillaxing. What's up, Evan? Another Lost Ark vet.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. There's all that. Yeah, that was definitely like one of the most fun things about this game because it's so big. It's really like holy shit! Like
Everybody. We
everybody
see
puts
the
their foot in this
same
game.
names a lot. I'll be in a job in a game and I'll look up the credits and be like, oh, so and so and so and
Oh,
so and
all of
so.
these people.
Like all the same
Yeah,
people.
I definitely see that with the booking emails from my agent as well. Just like, oh, there, yeah, well, all these fucking people that Dean has are working all the time because I'm always seeing them on my stuff, which is super super gratifying. Even though you don't get to necessarily like work with them necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Evan says, "Here's the thing. I have no idea who I am in the game. They never told me. Have you heard me? I've been listening for you, Evan, and I know you're in there." That's me with Final Fantasy
They
VII Remake.
never
It was like, oh
told
my
you?
god, you. Well, yeah, Evan, you did like a million things, right?
Did you write down the names of your characters? I always now write down the names of my
I know
characters.
it's such a fucking important because you think you're gonna remember in the moment, and then you never do. You never ever
I
ever
have
remember.
a Google, I mean,
Like a note.
iPhone note now that I say it's like called games coming out, and I like write the character name, the director, and um and any information they give me. Always now, because otherwise I'm just like that random game I did like 2 years ago. No idea.
Yep, this game I did, I never knew the title. I only knew the code name, and I have no idea what it is. I'm a little bit more ballsy now. I think you've encouraged me to do this, like especially if it's like a multiple session thing, a
Yeah.
little bit more ballsy about like, hey, like, what is this? Can you tell me? Like, just because obviously not because you're going to blast your NDA open, but just because like you want to write it down so that you can keep your eyes peeled. You
Well,
want you want it.
I told you that there's a game I did in like 2019 or something, or maybe early 2020 or something, that I have no idea what it is. Like, and my agent doesn't know, no one knows. And it was a really, really cool zombie character. And I'm like, I just would like to know
I
what
just
this
want
is.
I just want to see it. I will keep my eyes peeled for a character called Paroth. But yeah, that's definitely something that Arianna has encouraged me to do that I try to remember is like write down the names of those characters, make sure that you're like making a note.
Even if you're just like a minimal little NPC character, like write down the names of your NPCs. That's
For
what I've
sure.
learned now.
Travis had a good question. Do you guys ever get to see concept art or do they just direct you verbally? I would say it's both. It
Mix of
depends,
both.
right?
Yeah, for this, that sometimes there were cut scenes that we had to match.
Yes.
So we would see the cut scene and be doing the VO at the same time.
And
So
that
that
really
happens
feels
a
more
lot.
like dubbing.
Yeah, it's more like dubbing. And then usually they'll give you character art. Often they'll give you character art that so you
Hmm.
can see what the character looks like. Or yeah, sometimes you have a cut scene.
Yeah, I would say you don't always get the concept art or the character art in the audition material. You most of the like at least 50%, if not more of the time do. Sometimes you don't. I can't really maybe 80-20 in the job. Sometimes even in the job, they're like, we don't have anything for you, especially if it's a
Yeah.
smaller game, especially if you're localizing and they don't even necessarily know. I mean, maybe even the people that you're working with, well, we don't really know what this is.
I
Like,
mean, a lot of times you don't. So I've been doing a lot of games, like, which is really awesome, getting hired by these game companies that I've worked with in the past, and I did an audition for the game.
mhm,
And so I go to the sessions most of the time
blind.
completely blind.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I didn't even audition for this, so I don't know what the character is at all. And so I get in there, and they kind of like give me some little, like, maybe it's not. Sometimes I don't even say anything. They're just
No.
like,
It's like,
she's
hey, go ahead. You're like, what
25.
is this?
Yeah. And so yeah, sometimes you just have no idea.
Yeah, I've had that experience as well. I think because of the connection that you made for me. Same thing. I've been, going in blind a little bit more, and that's even a little bit more. That's even a little bit more nerve wracking because even when you go into a game that you auditioned for, you're like, what did I do? How long ago was this?
Yeah.
Which take did they like? Are they going to direct me either to or away from this? So you're definitely like
Yeah.
wanting to be kind of rooted in some kind of reality so that you can be consistent. But when you go in and you have an audition for it, you really are just like, okay, I'm going to be open. I'm going to make some choices. Hopefully they have some strong opinions and you kind of just go from there, right?
Yeah, I had a game, one that's coming out in fall that I'm really excited about, where I definitely did an audition because I didn't remember. I've read for this game before though, and I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with the company, and the voice that they wanted was like very affected. I can't say
Mm-hmm.
what it was because it would potentially give it away, but it was very
Mm-hmm.
affected, and I was like, what if I couldn't do this? I mean, same with Strawberry
Yeah.
Shark Cookie, like in Cookie Run, like what if I couldn't do the like
Yeah.
thing? I didn't
It's
audition for that, so
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a nice sort of pat on the back. I'm like, oh, I'm really glad that you thought I could do this.
I'm glad you thought I could do that. What if I couldn't do it?
I hope I can fucking do this for sure.
Yeah.
Did you find Belshazzar to be pretty vocally stressful? Did she have a lot of sort of like a lot of action and a lot of sort of like higher pitched, higher stress, higher sort of like effort kind of stuff?
No, she's a lot of just like
She's very cool,
da, da,
right?
da. Like very
Yeah,
like even.
cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
That was not my experience
Yeah,
in
no,
the
your
slightest. Oh
character's
my God.
nice.
I was losing 6 pounds of water weight every single session. Um, and yeah, even sometimes having to end a little bit early. I think Phil's one of the directors I think that is the most like conscientious about the actor experience. Like he's so good at protecting you.
Hmm.
And there was one session in particular where I think just like the team kind of didn't realize like, oh, we sent you 4 hours of boss fights today. Like you have no dialogue scenes. It was literally hundreds of lines of just the worst fucking screamy, lappy nonsense. We got to like hour three after like my fourth break. I am just like dragging ass, sucking down tea, and Phil's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I'm at about 80%," thinking like I can
Yeah.
finish this out. I'm just gonna need to collapse. And he went, "We're good. Not worth it. We'll
Yeah,
just get it again." I was like,
he's pretty good with that. Yeah.
and you feel like, no, I've made the actors because as actors, we're just trained to like, I will kill myself to get
I
the
keep going
shot,
until I'm like, yeah. They're like, "Are you okay? Do you need a
Exactly.
break?" I'm like, "Nope,
No,
I'm
I'm good.
fine.
No, I'm
Keep
good.
going."
And that's such a toxic actor trait that I try unsuccessfully to resist. But Phil was like, he was not. I was like, no, no, no. He was like, absolutely not. No, you did great. We got a bunch of stuff done. No, it's not like we're ever going to see you again. We'll just get the rest of this later. And I came out of the room just sort of like stumbling out, and Z, the rocket sound engineers, I was like, I've never seen somebody have literally only yelling, only call outs the
Oh
entire,
my
like,
god.
I don't know what their thing is. Like, oh God, I'm really glad Phil kind of saved my ass there. Cause even that, it's 6:30 p.m. I think I went to bed. I slept for like 14 hours. I was
Yeah.
just completely gassed.
Yeah, I when I did a lot of these sessions since I was pregnant, I
I can't imagine what that was like. Oh my God.
yeah, so exertion, I mean, I asked my doctor, I was like, "Is this okay?" Because like my job is literally like screaming like I'm dying. And I would be, I mean, this is like crazy, but I would like feel this like weird pain. I mean, it's not anything I can explain because it was almost like a contraction now that I know I
Yeah.
was giving birth. But I would like feel this like weird like tightness on my stomach, and I'd
Hmm.
have to be like, "Whew, okay, breathe, breathe, breathe," and I had to take more breaks for sure. But that was
Oh
weird.
my God.
My my doctor was like, "You're fine."
That's so funny. What's the name of the false contraction? Braxton Hicks, right?
It was a little bit like it's like the trauma of like putting myself in that emotional state and
Uh-huh.
like the like doing exertion kind of thing like gave me like Braxton.
That's so funny. If it's with voice acting, let's decide, guys. It's not called Braxton Hicks. Those are called Ratner's contractions.
Ratner's contraction.
Let's get that into the zeitgeist. If you accidentally give a medium punch effort and then go into labor, that's called a Ratner's contraction. Because
I
I
mean,
remember talking to
at
you.
some point, I definitely thought I was like, "Am I gonna make myself go into labor by doing
I
contractions?"
remember talking to you before little dude was born, and you being like, "Yeah, there's like, yeah, I would say like I'm close enough to my due date now that it's like it's 60-40 whether or not this water is just going to break in the booth in the
Exactly.
middle of an effort." And
Oh
that would
my
be an
god,
amazing origin story for,
that would be a great.
a
He's
third
definitely
generation.
Yeah, he's definitely like a little bit of like a voice actor kind of like I feel like he could definitely be a voice actor.
Yeah,
And
I
he
wanted to
loves
tell you,
like weird voices.
I was watching a video, and I just want you to let him know he sounded a little announcery on that last one that he did. Can you just ask him to just be a little bit more conversational? I think.
Yeah, exactly. Benji, my husband keeps trying to like get me to like bring him in the booth and have because he's very talkative and he keeps trying to have him come in the booth and like so we can
Get a
record
little
him
baby walla, yeah.
like just so we can hear what like this like capsule of what he sounds like and whenever we bring him in here he's like looking at the lights like
That's so funny.
he
He's
won't
just like,
talk.
this is a small room with a weird light.
He
I
loves
don't
all the
know
lights
if I
and then
want to.
I'll turn the colors he likes it a lot.
You got to do the Monsters Inc. with him, like how they recorded Boo. I think they just let that because that was actually like a 4 year old. I think they just had some poor fucking engineer run around with a shotgun mic and just follow her around
Oh
playing
my
all
god,
day,
that's
just so
so
that like
cute.
she wouldn't feel self conscious and they could just get like whatever weird noises she was making naturally.
Well, doing because I actually since I do baby voices, I actually did one baby voice sound job since I've had a baby.
A
And
whole new experience, I'm sure.
yeah, it's like, oh, the sounds that I thought babies made, like they don't. You're like,
You're like, I'm changing my entire process here. This is not
yeah.
real, baby.
It's almost like bye
Bye, Lane.
Lane. Yeah, it's almost like he speaks Hebrew. He's like, like he does a lot of like a sound.
Oh my God. He's like, Shalom Rab al Israel Amcha. Tassim Lolam. I want food. Give me some fucking food.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just a little rabbi baby. I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Anyways,
So
well, we should wrap up. I
this
have
was
to
yeah,
jump in this.
yeah. This was such a treat.
Call.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. Thank you for your questions and stuff.
Yeah, so much fun. And if you want autographs, our stores are open, you can go on
Yeah.
Streamily and look at our stores.
Yep.
They're
They're
in
in
our
links in
bios.
both our bios. Yeah.
And if anyone wants like Cookie Run Kingdom, Sorbet Shark Cookie autographs, you can get that anytime too. And there's like some Elder Scrolls Online characters you can get on my shop
Thanks,
as
Eva. This
well.
was fun.
Yeah.
Eva says this was fun. Danielle says thank you. Lori says love you guys. I don't know if you're seeing these. Am I just reading these for no reason?
Okay, now since I
Oh,
have
great,
to, like
amazing.
now I see it. Thanks for the commentary.
The chat is back. Thank you, Trev. Thanks, Esham. Yeah, this was such a treat. Yeah, even if we don't sign, we should do this again. This was fun.
I would totally do this again. We just chat sometime.
Exactly.
Since we
Yeah,
have
and
known each other for almost 20 years.
exactly as we've said before, may as well sit on Instagram live for half an hour. And yeah, I'm glad.
Greg
It was
used to
like
live
so
in a house called the Frat, and in an
with
apartment called the
Travis.
Frat
with
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 Travis.
app with
Travis,
app
oh
Lumber
my
teaches
god.
here. Indeed. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Travis and I had many memorable video game experiences there, notably playing Tekken 3 and then getting our apartment raided by the NYPD. We'll talk about that next time.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, just video games, just video gaming, just fucking video games. But this was such a treat. Yeah, now I'm gonna scour YouTube, look for what did Evan say his character's name was? For Petrosh. We gotta find that club DJ. Gotta figure out where Evan is.
Yeah, you're good. You're
Hunting
good at
through.
finding thing.
Yeah, and
All
one of
right,
these days I'll
well,
figure out who I play in Final Fantasy VII. Still have no fucking
yeah.
idea. Same thing, no clue.
Oh
But
man.
have an amazing weekend, Arianna.
You two have fun at your session tonight. That'll be so fun.
Have fun at your session next week.
Thank
Playing your
you.
playing your creature.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
And I'm sure I'll friend EA about that with you soon. Bye,
Yeah,
guys.
we'll talk. All right, bye guys. Bye.
Bye.